So I'm here to talk to you about the domino theory as it relates to missed cases. It is perfect for missed cases. I want to show you some things that I'm going to show you some exhibits, some things that I typically would draw or write out. But because of I'm not at my house or my office, I'm actually down in Florida. I don't have the easels and the things that I typically work with. So we created a couple exhibits that could help you and show you how I typically do it. So in every single case, this is what the domino theory is. Can you put up that little video? So this is what you need to prove any case in court. It's negligence plus causation equals damages or a verdict. And that's the goal in every case, is to get that verdict. Now, typically, and it depends on the case, sometimes you have to prove negligence, that somebody acted unreasonably, and sometimes you don't. Sometimes it's stipulated to. But what's never stipulated to is causation. So you need to prove causation in every case. So what I do is I come to court with a blank slate, pretty much. I have an easel that I use. It's blank. When I do my opening statement, I start to draw things. Sometimes the defense, who kind of know what my tricks are, my tactics are right now, they'll always object to me using the easel. They'll say something like, we don't know what he's going to draw. We don't know what he's going to do. So the judge will ask me, what are you going to draw? What are you going to do? And I say, I don't know. I'll kind of do it on the fly. And the judge says, that's fine with me. So typically, you know, if you bring in exhibits beforehand and you want to use them in your opening, sometimes the defense could object to them, and sometimes the judge will, you know, sustain that objection, and you won't be able to use those exhibits. So if you come with just a blank slate, you could start doing things like what I just did. So in other words, what you need to prove is that the defendant was negligent, that the negligence was a proximate cause of the accident and the injuries. And as a result of those things, there were damages. So I'll actually write that out. And I find it much more effective if you write it out as opposed to being, you know, on a PowerPoint. That's just my own opinion. That's the only way I feel, and I'm more comfortable doing it. And I use a combination of both. But when I write things or I draw things like the body parts or an accident scene or whatever I'm doing, the jury kind of, they're glued to what I'm doing. So I think it's much more effective if you write it out, because they're kind of waiting to see what's going to happen, as opposed to just looking at a PowerPoint screen with the printed words or letters on it. So if you think about it, I know missed cases are very tricky, but they're really not that difficult. Because what it comes down to, just like in the domino theory, you know, with any case, the reason the domino theory is really good for a missed case is because you can show, and I'm going to show you some pictures later and give you a website where you can watch me actually do the domino theory, because I'm not sure if some of you haven't seen that yet. So if you know what I'm talking about, I'll show you later and make it a little easier to understand. So in a missed case, it's the same as any other case. There's been an accident. There's minimal property damage. The person in the accident is claiming they're injured. They typically go for treatment. They have damages, whether they're monetary or pain and suffering. And then you have to prove it at trial. The reason some folks on the defense, they take a real hard line with these cases. So if you have one, you're probably going to end up trying it if you want the, you know, the real value of that case. So you're going to spend some money. So, and if you think about what it really is when you go to court and you try to prove this case, what's going to happen is the defense, they're going to claim basically that, look at the car. They're going to show photographs. So photographs is really what the whole case is about. So why does this car have such little property damage? How could it, if the car wasn't damaged, how could the person be damaged? And that's basically what they do. They show pictures of the car ad nauseum. So in their opening, and I'll agree to let them show the pictures, and I'll also show the pictures, because that's what the case is about. But one thing you can do to kind of cut them off at the pass